Okay, so let's talk vertical leap. So I think when it comes to vertical, there's kind of 4 factors to consider. The first, now energetics, or basically the energy system. Now, when it comes to vertical, we're looking at sort of 1 to 2 seconds of a maximum effort contraction. Your muscles are really just using their stored ATP. There's not much going on here. There's not really much you can do in a one-off instance. When it comes to repeat jumps, that's another story. Okay, number 2. When we talk biomechanics, we're really talking about joint angles and levers, the ability to use your body and the technical factors that make you more effective and more powerful. So with biomechanics, there's kind of 2. Arm swing, and when we talk about arm swing, we're talking about up and down. And second is joint sequencing. That's your ability to load the body like a spring and then uncoil it in the appropriate order. Now, both these things together are all about improving the ability and the efficiency of the stretch shortening cycle. A bad athlete kind of looks like this, where they're eccentric, and then the amortization phase down the bottom, there's a lag, there's a bit of latency there, and then they come out and they create their concentric power. Now, if you are a more explosive, more reactive, a stronger athlete, a better jumper, you're going to be able to load that eccentric portion faster, but also get out of it faster. So that means not only do you load the eccentric, that down part of the jump quicker and more explosively, you get out of the bottom, the amortization phase faster, and therefore create more concentric power, taking more of that eccentric load with you. Okay, the third thing is really the physics of the jump. And when we talk about the physics, we're really talking about the ability for your body to displace the center of mass. To do that, you really have to beat gravity. Now, gravity has a speed of 9.8 meters per second. To beat that, that means you have to jump faster than that. I think I'm gonna call my brother, he should be out of bed. I'm gonna see, he's smarter at this stuff than I am, and see what he thinks.
Can't take your call at the moment. Please leave a message after the tone.
We'll just go with it. So, to beat gravity, you have to move vertically faster than 9.8 meters per second.
20 minutes later.
Hey Davey, how you doing?
Hey, not too bad. Just missed your call.
That's okay. I had a physics-based question for you. I'm doing vertical leap right now.
Oh, okay.
Gravity comes down at the speed of 9.8 meters per second. So that means...
Per second.
Per second. I'll fix that. So, if one were to hypothetically want to beat gravity, and therefore move their center of mass up against it, you would have to leave the ground at faster than 9.8.8, wouldn't you? 9.8.
No. You can leave the ground at any speed.
Oh.
But if you leave at 9.8, you're going to be in the air for 1 second before you're back to 0 speed.
Right.
But if you leave it like half that, you'll be in the air for half a second.
Oh, okay. So I don't have to technically beat gravity to get off the ground.
No. You just have to give yourself a momentum up.
So how does that work from a physics scientific point of view? I was so wrong.
You squat down and then you put all your momentum up.
Yep.
So you're traveling up at some speed. And then you'll keep going up, but once you're off the ground, because you're not pushing on the ground,
you're not creating any more momentum. Yeah, right. So gravity decelerates you.
Yeah, gravity's an acceleration.
Right.
Back to the ground.
Okay, and so the faster you leave the ground, the longer you'll beat gravity for.
Yeah, and because you're going fast, it's a two-pronged, it's a squared relationship, because you're leaving the ground faster, so you'll travel faster in that time, and you'll be off the ground for longer. You want your leaving speed to be as high as possible.
Yeah, so max velocity at takeoff. I got that bit right.
Yeah, but the bonus is if you double your leaving speed, you'll jump 4 times as high.
Ah, and so if you triple it, you'll jump 9 times as high.
Yeah,
Oh.
because you'll be in the air for longer, and you'll be going up faster for most of it.
Ah, that's brilliant. Okay, so that reiterates my point that velocity at takeoff is the #1 factor when it comes to jumping.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't actually have to beat gravity, you just have to be fast, and the faster you want to be, The faster you can be at takeoff, the better you'll go. The higher you'll go.
Which is why everyone can pretty much jump, because you don't have to beat gravity. Everyone can jump a little bit.
Yeah,
But to get a good jump, you have to be
super quick
super quick.
and powerful.
That settles it.
That settles it. How are you anyway?
Good, yeah. Just woke up, so
Oh.
I'll have to sing Monday.
Dude, it's 10:40. No, you are home now. So velocity at takeoff, that's probably the key. That's the overarching principle. That's the one thing we're really trying to improve when it comes to being better jumpers. To achieve more velocity, that's when we start looking at the physiology, the things that are going on in our body that we can improve to make us better jumpers. So obviously, velocity at takeoff, that means speed is going to be really important. And then when we talk speed, there's speed of contraction, and that ultimately creates more speed of limb and more speed and more torque around our limbs and around our joints. Now, accompanying speed is strength or force development. These two, your speed and your force capacity, that's basically power. Force times speed, that is the definition, that is the equation for power. And power is king. Power is absolutely key when it comes to everything in sport. Now when it comes to force, the factors going on here, type 2 fibers, now that's a bit genetic, but you can shift your fibers with your training type. Next, you want to down-regulate your Golgi tendon organs. These guys are the rate limiters inside your tendon that tell you how much tension you can or can't produce based on how safe they feel. So if you can make those guys a little bit shut off, you can effectively create more force. Next, you want to increase your neural drive. That's basically giving yourself a software upgrade. If you can make your brain and your nervous system more explosive, you're going to jump higher. And the fourth point is cross-sectional area, CSA. That's how big your muscles are. A bigger muscle can ultimately create more force, but increased cross-sectional area has a downside, because the bigger your muscles, the more body mass you have to carry around with you every time you jump. So when it comes to body weight, there's kind of a sweet spot. You want enough muscle to create force, but you don't have to carry extra baggage. So being lean, and also to a degree, being lighter. Lighter people tend to jump higher because they can create more velocity and more force relative to their weight, which is actually another really good point. Force and strength, oh wow. Force and strength, that's really about being relative to body weight. So you can be as strong as you want, but if you also weigh a truck, that's going to make it hard. So if you can be lighter but still stronger, that's going to help you jumping, because ultimately that gives you more ability to create velocity at takeoff, because you're moving a smaller object. Okay, back to where we were. So body mass, leaner and lighter is really important. Some other factors that are going on here. Flexibility and mobility is massive. You can create all the force you want, all the speed you want, but if your joints don't have the range to, number one, be loaded like springs, and then number two, to explode and to create triple extension to leave the ground, all that force is for nothing, because you just can't put it through enough range. The more range you can take your muscles and your joints through, the more they work like springs, because they can be loaded tighter and obviously give you more energy back. The last thing is kind of you want the opposite with your tendons. For every bit of flexibility and mobility you want through your muscles and your joints, you want your tendons to have what's called stiffness. That means when your muscles pull on them, your tendon doesn't actually move much relative to its original shape, so it holds its tightness and its tension. That tendon stiffness, it's a yucky term, I hate the word stiffness, but it is what it is. Stiffness, so that tendon stiffness we're talking about here, that directly links into your stretch shortening cycle. The ability for you to get into eccentrically and then out of concentrically those loaded muscles in that loaded bottom position. So there you have it. That's what sort of constitutes and makes up a vertical leap. Get these things right and improve these things over time, and you'll ultimately jump high. That's what it's all about.